Welcome to the Headingley ground, Leeds, for the first round of the Silk Cup Challenge Cup tie. An All Yorkshire battle is between Leeds, who are just taking the field, and Castleford. The Leeds team for this afternoon: at number 1 Marty Kerr, at 2 Steve Morris, 3 that expensive buy Gary Schofield, 4 David Stevenson, who's just been bought from Wigan, at 5 Carl Gibson, 6 David Creaser, 7 Ray Ashton, number 8 the massive prop forward and captain Peter Tonks, 9 Colin Maskell, 10 John Furbank, a famous family of footballers, 11 Ray Powell, and 12 Medley, the 2 men who turned out last week in the second row for Great Britain, and at 13 David Heron. And the Leeds substitutes for this afternoon: at number 14 John Lyons, and at number 15 Peter Jackson. The Castleford team: number 1 David Ruckley, 2 David Plange, 3 Tony Marchant, 4 Michael Beattie, 5 Brian Juliff coming in to the side, 6 Sean Irwin, 7 Bob Beardmore, 8 Kevin Ward, who's had a lot of experience down under, 9 Kevin Beardmore, 10 Keith England, 11 John Fifita, 12 Martin Kettridge, 13 John Joyner, 14 Keith Jones, 15 Keith Hill. The referee, Mr. Spencer, leads to kick off from right to left, playing into a strong breeze. Creaser, low on into the Castleford 25. Castleford got the job of bringing away. Both sets of forwards will be sorting each other out in these early stages. Kevin Beardmore bringing in Kettridge. Kettridge coming hard onto the ball. Kevin Beardmore again from behind to play the ball. And the Castleford forwards taking their opponents on. John Furbank tries to clear his line. Referee right on top of them. Switch round the narrow side. Leeds moving in quickly into the defence. Beardmore flings it back for the kick. They have the wind with them. Gurr having to go across for it. It sits up very nicely for him. 10 yards out from his own line, but there's a big follow-up there as the Leeds defence moved up quickly to push Leeds back into their own 25, and now Leeds going to have to try and fight the way out. And Castleford come in, hitting them with everything except the kitchen sink, as Ashton tries to get his team out of his own 25. Maskell behind the play of the ball. Tonks is very close, but it's not Tonks who gets it. There's Leeds having to fight for every inch of territory around their own 25. Long throw back. Easy one for Ruckley on the halfway line. Ruckley trying to make a run on his own. The cover is up to take him. Beardmore. Juliff coming from the wing, being taken by Powell. Bob Beardmore very close. Short pass and the ball's been dropped, and Leeds can't take advantage of it. Couldn't pick it up cleanly, so we come to the first scrum of the game. The Ashton to put the ball in for Leeds. Pack's not meeting well. Front rows manoeuvring, throtching for position. Kevin Beardmore having difficulty getting his head down. Then Tonks don't get in, and it shoots out and came out so quickly that Ashton couldn't take it, and Creaser had to fall on the ball. Ashton now out to Powell. Powell running wide across his own 25. Long legs, can't get the ball inside. As Schofield came up nicely on his inside, but Powell couldn't get the ball to him. Castleford moving up very quickly. Marchant right in the Leeds line out, and Furbank goes in to tattle his at the opponent strongly. Now it's Tonks. Tonks turning it back inside onto Ashton. And Leeds being pushed back, pinned down in their own 25. Maskell from behind to play the ball onto Tonks, and he's met hard by 4 hefty Castleford forwards, and they bounce him down in the 5th tattle. Flung back for the kick, left-footed. Ruckley going to let it bounce. It sits up nicely for him. Ashley's up there quickly. Juliff right on the halfway line, waiting for the play of the ball. Decides he's going to have a run on his own, and that's a good run by Juliff. Gains a good 15 yards of ground. Kevin Beardmore moving it out onto the narrow side, and Kettridge making a powerful run down the field. Takes it into the 25 line. Castleford lined out deeply now as they move the ball across the line, and Fifita couldn't take it cleanly. Ball was a little bit high, and Castleford trying to mount the attack there, but territorially it's been all Castleford so far. Ashton to put the ball in for the second time. The last time it shot out the scrum, and a penalty to Leeds for scrum offence. The referee said the pack didn't get in straight, and Castleford were the guilty party. So Leeds to kick for touch down the Castleford right wing. Not a lot of ground gain as he kicks into the wind. Maskell would start with the tap just inside his own half, doing a run around. Tonks gets it onto Medley. Medley going powerfully, terrific run by Medley. Managed to get his pass in, and they've lost the ball, and it turned quickly away. Marchant. And Leeds lost possession there when they looked menacing. And now Julie dropped in, they've been snapped up by Morris. Bit of insecure handling. Castleford player lying up, and Castleford lying very closely as Leeds stretch them across the field. Long pass comes on to Powell. Powell on the halfway line. Gets it out on to Gibson. Gibson going hard for the line, on the 25 line. And he's crunched down from behind. It's a kick to Castleford. David Stevenson went into the tackle to push somebody off. The referee not happy about David Stevenson's push, and so it's a penalty to Castleford. A great relieving penalty this, because they're under a lot of pressure there, and no mistake with that kick. Touch judge marks it just short of the halfway line. And this is a hard, tough, dour cut tie. Forwards giving it all they've got as Wainmore moves it inside onto Kettridge. Kettridge goes powering his way forward. John Furbank behind the play of the ball, making a run of his own, and he's taken by Keith England. Wainmore onto Ashton. Ashton moving it across onto Fifita. Fifita bounced down, met with great determination and power. Short one to Bob Beardmore. Beardmore onto Kevin Ward, and Kevin Ward still fighting, gets his pass in onto Ruckley. The referee right on the spot said it was just forward, but that's enough to bring them back. So Cass having a little tactical talk as to what they're going to do. Kevin Beardmore having a word with Martin Kettridge, and it's Kettridge who gets, and he's on his own as he tries to crash his way through. Lone figure in the wilderness there, nobody following him. And now it's England. Now England held just inches short of the line. Beardmore does a switch onto Ward. Ward held underneath the post. Powell coming in. Ward trying to take them with him. They're around him like bees around Honey Pot. Castleford now hurling everything they've got at the Leeds line, stretching the ball as Jordan moves it across. Ruckley puts a little kick in and beats it over. Nice little kick by Ruckley. Well picked up by Beattie. Castleford had thrown everything they'd got at the Leeds line, and eventually the Leeds defence had crumbled. And so, halfway through this first half, with 20 minutes gone, Castleford go into a 4 points to nil lead. Well, that try came from a scrum infringement. Ray Ashton was adjudged guilty of incorrect feeding, and from the tap penalty there were a couple of forwards, big heavy forwards, the two props, Ward and England, bashed the way at the line and sucked the defence in, and then they moved the ball out wide, and a nice little kick from Ruckley put Beattie over, and the kick has missed. So we come back to the centre, with Castleford with a 4 points lead, a lead which I think they deserve. They've been right on top so far. Castleford 4, Leeds 0 in this tremendously hard-fought cup tie. And quickly out, along to Creaser. Creaser trying to dance his way through. Gets nowhere against Erwin. Comes out to Ashton. Ashton holding it. Turning back inside. And Leeds bogged down at the moment. Referee waving Castleford back as Heron gets the ball. Heron moves it across. Strong running by Medley. But he's being met with great determination by this Castleford defence, with a mauling in the tattle as Powell decides he's going to play him on his own. And once again, these Castleford forwards, Ward going in extremely strongly. Maskell turning inside, ball's gone astray, comes on to Furbank. Furbank can't get moving, 5 tackles have gone as Powell comes over. Powell to Ashton. Ashton hoists a high ball for Rutley just inside the field of play. Takes it in his own in goal. He didn't take it at the first attempt. And good following up puts him down a yard from his line. Plans from behind to play the ball. Brings it away from the danger zone. Now Leeds will try to pin Castleford down, and Castleford fighting the way forward as Kevin Beardmore gains 5 yards of valuable territory. And again Medley comes in with some tremendous tackling. Sensible kick, saving his forward trouble. Trapped by Gibson. He has Gurr on his inside. He decides he's going to go on his own. Gets out of one tackle. Powerful running by Gibson. And eventually Marchant forces him down to the ground. Maskell to Ashton, and a penalty for offside. Castleford up too quickly. A penalty to Leeds. It's 13 yards inside the Castleford half and right in front of the post. And Creaser decides he's going to kick for touch down the Juliff wing. Oh, that's a beautiful kick. Touch judge marks it 10 yards out. Leeds now in a hot attacking position. Maskell coming up to take the tap as Tonks drives into the Castleford forwards and the yellow jerseys hold him. Met solidly there. Now Furbank decides he's going to force his way through. Castleford line holding safely as the switch is done. And he's through, Medley's through from a lovely move. A lovely move worked by the half-back from round the play the ball. And Medley coming through like an express train, levels the scores. After 25 minutes play, Castleford 4, Leeds 4, and Leeds, who've hardly ever been down that end of the ground. As a result of a penalty kick and some driving runs by the forwards, then worked a lovely switch round the play the ball. Couple of dummy runs and Ashton picked out Medley, and Medley was going and there was no intention of being stopped. He'd have gone through a brick wall for that one, and he levels the score. Then Castleford 4, Leeds 4, and David Stevenson with a kick to take right in front of the post. Should flirt this one over. And that puts Leeds in front. Either could Ashton pick it up cleanly. So it will be Ashton to feed. Castleford with the first team to knock on. And it's out to Ashton, doing a switch onto David Stevenson. Stevenson running one onto Scofie. Scofie going hard for the line, and he's followed from behind and caught from behind. Followed by Joyner, who covered across well. Comes inside to Ashton. Ashton moving it across the field. And a tremendous run by the loose forward. Gets it to Maskell. Maskell on to Medley, and Medley's over for his second try. Well, that was powerful running by David Heron. In the first place, it was Heron who really set that up, and he was backed up by a host of blue jerseys. Nearly all the Leeds team were following that break-up, and it's Medley who goes over again to make it now Leeds 10, Castleford 4 and Leeds getting right on top. Leeds having a lot of possession from the scrum, and Castleford little bit over anxious perhaps, little bit frenetic when they're in possession, starting the moves and losing possession and giving it back to Leeds, and Leeds capitalising on it well. And that was a great run by David Heron to set that move in motion, and well finished off with good supporting play, and it was Medley who was there to take the final pass and put it down. David Stevenson, a chance for his second goal. And he makes no mistake. Leeds 12, Castleford 4. Good performance this by Leeds, playing into the wind in this first half. Half an hour gone. Might have been better moving the ball there. Leeds now, Maskill grovelling his way forward on his knees. And the yellow jerseys are like greyhounds out of a trap, and they're moving up so fast that Leeds cannot get moving. Leeds right back on their own line. And that's solid tackling by Castleford. And Leeds running crossfield and gaining no ground. Maskill moving it. Now it's Tonks, and Tonks switches it inside, back onto Maskill. Ashton waiting behind to play the ball, and he's going to get caught. He did well to get his kick in. Coming to Rucley's all the time in the wall to take it. Coming up the 25, and a good tackle by Ashton puts him down. Beardmore waiting behind to play the ball. On to Juliff. Juliff turning and twisting and dragging them with him. Juliff, who has experience in the forwards as well as in the backs, comes out to Beardmore. Beardmore, a long one. Joyner moving it on to Fifita. Fifita gets his pass in, but it's along the floor. Castleford did well to regain possession. Rucley waiting behind to play the ball. Rucley gets it onto Beardmore. Beardmore, a short pass, and it's whipped back inside onto Marchant. Marchant, a long one onto Juliff, and he's battering his way over, and he's held just a yard short, 2 yards short of the line. Beardmore moving it across field onto BTM. BTM, there's tremendous tackling and tremendous attacking going on as Castleford are now throwing everything they've got. Comes back onto Beardmore. Beardmore hoists a high ball into the in-goal area. It's an awkward one. The ball's loose and it's kicked dead. Kicked dead by Heron, and so it'll be a drop out from underneath the Leeds post. Castleford have not yet yielded, losing by 12 points. By 12 points to 4. Leeds forced back again with about 5 minutes to go to half-time. To drop out from underneath their own post, give possession. Ward traps it. Met by 3 forward, he's still on his feet. They've a job getting him down to the ground. Kevin Beardmore to Bob Beardmore. Bob Beardmore onto England. England puts his shoulder in. He's met by the 2 props and he has to die. Kevin Beardmore to Bob Beardmore. Onto Joyner. Joyner changing direction, looking for support, but his arms are locked, he can't get rid of the ball. The 2 Beardmore, but Beardmore going on his own, the hooker. Held 5 yards out, right in front of the post. Marchant up to acting half-back. Marchant to Joyner, no, he's holding it, trying to get over, and he's held inches short. 5th tackle, last one coming up, it comes to Joyner. Joyner dummying, turns it inside, and they're held again right on the line, so once more it's the rollover. Gibson's come inside, and his feet go from under him, and he only gains a yard. Maskill from behind to play the ball, and he's trying to clear his lines. And Beardmore's in very quickly, both Beardmore's going to take him. Gibson running across field and not gaining any ground at all, playing it dangerously, living very dangerously right in front of his own post. Schofield sends a long pass, and a good, sound, tactical kick. Saves all the bashing and banging and bulldozing, and he clears his line well and takes it up to 10 yards from the half line. Well, that could knock some of the steam out of Castleford, who've been giving it their all right on the Leeds line, and Leeds defended very well indeed. Now, let's clear the danger. Beardmore gets it out to Irwin, and Leeds are right in the Castleford line out, moved up very quickly indeed. Beardmore moving on to Beattie. Beattie trying to crash his way through, well tackled by Schofield. Marchant onto Beardmore. Beardmore short one onto England. England still on his feet, managed to get his pass in onto Beattie. Beattie running wide. Regains possession. Referee said it went back as it dropped out of his hand as he was trying to pass. Now Bob Beardmore tries a run from acting half-back, and he's lost possession. Tonks. Maskell pushes Tonks out of the way. Comes on to Ashton. Ashton a long wide pass. On to Medley. Medley trying to go to this time. He's well tackled by Kevin Beardmore as well. Maskell, short one onto Furbank. Furbank ploughs his way forward. Tonks now flicks it back to Maskell. Maskell up to the halfway line. Ashton, long one out to Furbank, who's the only man out on the right side of the field, but he gained some very valuable territory. Maskell to Ashton. Ashton moving it across the field onto Heron. Heron gets his pass in, and it's turned back inside. Onto Medley. Medley, little overhead kick in. He's first up there. He fly kicks it through. Medley a chase with Rookley. Rookley right on his own line. Drops on it safely. Medley following up quickly. Juliff drags his way forward a couple of valuable yards. And as we come up to half-time, Castleford is struggling in their own 25. Forward, battling it away, out of trouble. Keeping it tight, long lob pass out to Plange. Plange having to come inside, and the coverage there to take him. And 5 tackles have gone as Plange gets up very gingerly, and the ball's flung back. Gurr going across for it. He has plenty of support. He has Schofield with him. He's hanging on to it. Plays it safe and decides he'll dive with the ball. Schofield waiting behind to play the ball. Running it out on his own, giving his team time to regroup. They've had to retreat a long way after that kick. Ashton onto Powell. Powell gets his pass in. Leeds keeping the ball moving well, letting it go. Ashton managed to pick it up off the floor. Tiny little pocket full of energy, very strong handoff. Tonks running a bit wide, flicks a rather dangerous pass, but Leeds are through. Made the break again, gets it out. Schofield bringing Morris inside. Morris searching for the line. He has support outside, going on his own, gets it out onto Schofield down the red of the corner. Well, from what looked like a harmless backflip by Tonks, Schofield and Morris scorched down the right wing, almost on the stroke of half-time. Both Morris and Schofield ran extremely well. Morris came inside, Schofield went back out onto the wing and finished it off well. So that's another 4 points to Leeds, making it Leeds 16, Castleford 4, and Castleford in a lot of trouble as we come up to half-time. Castleford beginning to wilt a little under this powerful Leeds play. Leeds are big and the strong and the skillful. Three tries then to Leeds, only one to Castleford. Long kick just in from the touchline. David Stevenson, who has the ability to make this distance. His direction not always the best, and he's pulled that one right across the face of the post. So as we come up to injury time, it's Leeds 16, Castleford 4. And despite the great heart and determination that Castleford are showing, they are well behind. As Kettridge tries another deep one. Leeds happy to die with it as we come to the end of what's been a most entertaining and hard first half. The players go off for half-time with a score: Leeds 16, Castleford 4. So Castleford take the field for this second half. Down by 16 points to 4. One wonders if they can get back into this game. We have seen complete vault passes before now on Boxing Day. Wigan were leading St Helens by 22 points to 6, and it looked as if St Helens were absolutely dead, but they must have confused Boxing Day with Easter Sunday, because there was a sudden survival and they rose from the dead in the second half to completely reverse the tide of fortune. But one wonders, with this highly professional, extremely talented Leeds team, will now let this game escape from their grasps. Castleford then from right to left. Referee waves this second half on. Both teams will now be struggling, fighting hard to make sure they go into the hat tomorrow. David Heron bounced down just outside his own 25. Maskell switching it onto Furbank, who's had a hard game. He's still taking them with him. John Lyons has come on in this second half. Looks, I think, perhaps as if Ashton might have gone off, and Powell gets his pass in. As Medley swung round and bounced down. Lyons lobs the ball back for the kick. Bouncing awkwardly for Ruckley. And Leeds are penalised for offside. Referees judging that Schofield hadn't gone 5 yards. Let him run the 5 yards. He was in the offside area as he followed up the kick. Castleford Joyner moves the ball across. And Powell hurling his man back. Castleford now trying to battle the way through the Leeds defence. Joyner moves a long pass out to Fifita. Fifita taken from behind, turns it inside. Well backed up by Ruckley. Ruckley has to dive with it on the halfway line. Kevin Beardmore moves it on. Joyner, short pass onto, and the pass is in, and Castleford can't take it. Joyner couldn't take the return pass, and so would scrum down just inside the Leeds half, with Leeds to feed the scrum. Lyons, who's come on for Ashton, puts it in, and it comes out to Castleford. The referee said it's shot straight out, and he's given a penalty to Castleford for Lyons being offside. Picked it up at the side of the scrum as it came out. The referee wanted him to go behind the pack, and Ketteridge will kick for touch. 5 yards outside the Leeds 25. Being more. Once again, it's the forwards who are trying to draw the Leeds defence in. Being more, moving it across. And these Castleford lads are coming onto this ball extremely hard and fast. Working the switch round from behind the ball. Battling the way towards the Leeds try line. Are held up 5 yards out. Being more, moving it across the field. Joyner, long pass onto Irwin going back inside, gets it passing on to Marchant dummying, and he's snuffed out. Beardmore having a run on his own onto Joyner makes a gap for Rookley for the line, and he's over onto the post. An early try to Castleford, right back into the game, 16 points to 8. And that was moved well. Joyner, who's such a clever footballer, timed his pass beautifully, and Rookley, linking up well, came in, ran with great determination to ground the ball underneath the post. First couple of minutes of the second half, Castleford coming right back into the game. The score now, Leeds 16, Castleford 8, and Castleford with an absolutely straight kick. Bob Beardmore should have no problems with this. And it's over, only a try and a goal in it now. Leeds 16, Castleford 10, and that must put a lot of life and a lot of heart into this Castleford side. All came from an offside at the scrum by Lyons. He paid the price. Castleford. Wind dropped in the second half. Castleford now in their own 25. Plunge, having made a good run. Joyner moving it across the field. Castleford just moved across the 25 line, no ground gained. Comes out to Joyner. Joyner trying to Fifita. Fifita snuffed out by a strong tackle by Jackson, who's come on. So Leeds have used both the substitutes, and Beattie swung round and bounced down by Jackson. Ball's flung back for the kick. Gar coming across for it on his own 25, picks it up cleanly. Has David Stevenson with him, and he's looked quite ineffective as he tried to run that out, and Castleford gained a lot of ground from that kick. England in quickly. Lyons onto Powell. Powell running at the defence. Joyner goes in to complete the tackle. Joyner getting the ball moving on to Lyons, having to jump over his own player, runs into Ketteridge. Maskell onto Tonks, Tonks sidestepping inside, managed to get his pass in onto Gurr, and Gurr is bounced down. Referee says 5 tackles have gone as Leeds line up ready for the kick. Flung back. Jackson puts the kick in, Plange takes it. Plange trying to come down the middle, gets his pass in, there's a break. Rookley kicks past the fullback, going to play for the obstruction. The referee's giving it right in front of the post. Rookley ran into Gurr. Leeds none too happy with it. Gurr questioning the decision. And it's a straight kick. 6 points in it. Beardmore with a straight kick. 12 yards out from the post. Could put them within a try distance. Set up by a good break by Plange. Trapped that kick and then came hard up the middle, let his pass go. Rutley coming through well, and Beardmore makes it 12. Leeds 16, Castleford 12. On to Beardmore. Rutley has a gap. Heron's in quickly to close it down. Bob Beardmore waiting behind the play the ball. Gets it out to Joyner. Joyner trying to dummy his way through. Turns it back inside. It's not a good pass, and Leeds have nearly got possession, but Castleford just managed to hang on to it by the fingernails. And once again the forwards come tearing in. Out to Bob Beardmore, holding it. Oh, and that's a high one, and a penalty. Tattled off the ball. A high tattle off the ball gives a penalty to Castleford right in front of the post. And he's off. Furbank has been sent off. I couldn't see whether the referee held up the yellow card or not, whether it's a sin bin or a permanent sending off. We'll know in 10 minutes time. As Furbank goes off for that tattle on Ward. Ward will have a bit of a headache in the morning, but the holy water. And it looks as if Castleford are making a substitution. And Plange is coming off. And Kevin Hill is coming on. And Irwin is going out onto the wing. Irwin's moving from standoff out onto the wing to take the place of Plange. And Hill has come into the centre of the field. Bob Beardmore, 4 points behind as he takes this kick. 16 points to 12. And now it's 16-14, 2 points in it. England battering his way forward. Leeds playing a man short at the moment. One been sent off. It's Kettridge. And he gets on. He's still battering his way. Still driving forward, looking for support. Gets it out. A long pass goes out to the wing. And the attack is snuffed out 10 yards short of the line. But Castleford are giving Leeds a rough time at the moment. As a long one comes out, Beardmore holding it, moving it across. Ward, a short one, and the gap's on. The referee said it's a forward pass. As Rutley goes over underneath the post, referee brings them back for a forward pass. And it will be Lyons to feed the scrum for Leeds. Castleford having a job getting that. Now Tonks then shoots up. Ball's coming out to Lyons. All he can do is fall on it at the base of the scrum. Put it back to Heron. Heron moves it on to Jackson. Jackson being snuffed out by Joyner and Beardmore and Kettridge. Lyons going through from acting up. Back onto Tonks. Tonks always managed to slip the ball to Tonks. And Lyons having a good run now. He has support. And he's still going. Good run by Lyons. And eventually it's fourth down. And now it's Leeds again, surging forward. It comes out to Heron. Heron a long pass to Powell. Powell dummying. And Castleford have managed to stifle the move. Morris having a run from behind the play of the ball, and he's absolutely buried. 5 tackles gone. Comes to Tonks. Tonks hoists a high ball, a short one. Beautifully taken by BT. Under a lot of pressure. 8 yards out from his own line, gets up slowly. And Hill batters his way forward. Juliff coming to the centre of the field, gets his pass in, moved across onto Marchant. Marchant back in the move again onto Irwin. And Irwin is taken man and ball. Leeds moving on to Castleford well to hold him in the 25. Irwin plays the ball to himself forward and drags his way up to the 25 line. Beardmore comes over. Joyner onto Fifita. Fifita knocks one off, knocks another off. Managed to get his pass in back onto Joyner. Joyner still going, gets in onto Marchant. Marchant and Castleford break beautifully down the right, turn back inside onto Marchant. Marchant coming over the halfway line, still taking them with him. And that was good play by Castleford, but they're caught in the fifth tackle. Running it through, still keeping it going. Julie puts in a little kick. Beattie puts in a kick, regains possession. They've been knocked down, ball still loose. And the referee says it's 6 tackles. 6 tackles. Joyner's complaining, said it'd been played on. The referee says it's 6 tackles and Leeds have got the rollover. And Castleford defence is thin on the ground. As it comes out to Morris. Morris having a run down the wing, beats one nicely. But the referee showing the yellow card. Medal is flat out on the field. Kevin Hill having come out onto the wing. Medal having flattened off the ball. Referee restarts the clock. Jackson makes no mistake with that kick up to the halfway line. Maskell to Lyons. Lyons onto Furbank, who's buried. A delayed swing, didn't connect. He's holding his head. Goes to Lyons. Lyons onto Powell. Powell running cross field, and Beardmore hangs on to him with the help of England. Maskell to Tonks. Tonks changing direction onto Powell. Powell going down the middle, he's made the break. He has support, well taken by Maskell. Onto Schofield, and they've got to come back. Referee right in line with it. Disallows that nice interplay between Tonks and Schofield and Powell and Maskell. Decided that one of the passes was forward. 2 points in it. Leeds leading as it goes out to Tonks. Tonks, and for once he can't get rid of the ball. Out to Lyons. Lyons moving it across the field. Jackson gets it into Schofield. Marchant hanging on to him. Back onto Jackson. Jackson bringing Morris inside. Marchant gets hold of it onto Heron. And the split wide open as Powell managed to get his pass in. And onto Furbank. Furbank going for the line. And he's lost the ball. And it's the knock-on. Well, it looked all over a try. Castleford were very light in defence over on the far wing. About 12 minutes of this half left. Leeds in the best place to be at this time of the game, in the Castleford 25, attacking strongly, and Castleford wilting a bit. Look as if they're getting this one out. A long way to go down to the other end of the field. 2 points behind. So move the ball across their own 25, and Leeds moving in quickly to pin them down. Out to Joyner. Joyner moving it across. And that's a powerful tackle by Medley. He's been really bouncing the opposition down this afternoon. Joyner looking a little bit unsure as to what to do. Now Castleford spark off into attack, streaking down the field. Ward has Marchant inside and Marchant gets it. Marchant going round in circles up to the halfway line. Gets his pass into Owen, and Owen is bounced down on the touchline. But that was a good clean break out from their own 25 by Castleford. They're not finished yet as they move the ball on to Joyner. Joyner going down the middle. 5 tackles gone. Kick's been knocked down, ball's loose on the floor. But Leeds have got possession. Castleford are appealing, but the referees tell him to get on with the game. It's Leeds now inside their own half. Gibson running wide, tries to straighten up. Maskell to Lyons. Lyons holding it, trying to come down the middle. Runs into Ward. Maskell going through, good break from Acklin, half-back and he's tripped. Beardmore stuck a foot out. Penalty to Leeds, right in the centre of the field for tripping. Jackson to kick for touch, down the Castleford left wing. Maskell to restart with the tap. Maskell to Furbank. Furbank taking them on. Maskell to Powell. Powell playing one-man rugby again. Run around being worked here with Lyons on to Heron. This time it was spotted. Well taken out by Hill. Morris come up to act in half-back. On to Tonks. Tonks coming back this way. Gets it back to Maskell. And Leeds going round in ever decreasing circles at the moment as Morris decides he's going to go through on his own, and he's dancing a job to Schofield. He has the full back to beat. Gets his pass into Powell. 5 tackles gone, says the referee, but we're 15 yards out, and it's Leeds hot on the attack now as he flings it back for the drop kick. And it's wide. Schofield off target, wanted to get another point away. Feeling 2 points is a bit close. Castleford switching it inside onto Beardmore, onto Joyner. Joyner standing still with the ball. Flung down to the ground. Kevin Beardmore to Bob Beardmore, moving it across, and once again it's tight in the forwards. Beardmore. Joyner having to change direction. There was nobody at all out on the right wing. Fifita lobs a dangerous pass, which has been kicked through. Is the referee, and the referee gives the obstruction. Castleford threw out a wild, dangerous pass. A wild pass. No line out at all on the Castleford left wing. Castleford beginning to look very, very weary, very tired. Threw a nonsense of a pass out. Gibson coming in from the wing, fly kicked at it, was obstructed, and this could be the nail in Castleford's coffin. An easy kick, 10 yards to the left of the post for David Stevenson. About 33 minutes gone. 7 or 8 minutes or so left for play, apart from stoppage time. Just 2 points in it, Leeds in the lead. But David Stevenson sets this kick up, penalty kick. Referee wanting the Castleford players 10 yards away, signalling them to go further back towards their own try line. Important kick this for David Stevenson and Leeds. Stabs at it, and a great roar from the Leeds supporters tell you the lead has been extended to 4 points. Leeds 18, Castleford 14. And another substitution being made. Juliff is back on the field, but they wanted to bring Fifita off and bring Jones on. Castleford got to go all out for a try now. As Ketteridge takes the kick. On to Morris. So elusive. Maskell. Leeds playing it steady and safe. It comes to Lyons. Lyons onto Furbank. Furbank hangs onto it for dear life. Tonks. And this time Tonks is swung round and bounced down. Juliff has gone into the middle, gone into the forward. There's the throwback for the kick. Jackson allowed to go a long way before he kicks through. Comes to Jones. Jones running into Morris. Morris and Schofield bundle him down. Beardmore onto Bob Beardmore. Bob Beardmore running wide. Gets his pass in. But Rookley can't get anywhere at all. To Joyner to Ward. Ward holding it, trying to bust his way through. Dragging men with him, taking 3 men with him. He's so strong, is Ward. Now Juliff having a run from behind the played one. He's lost the ball. Present that for Leeds. Maskell hands it on to Lyons. Lyons moving it across the field. Good break. Medley powering his way down the field. And he's well tackled by Rookley, but that was a great run by Medley. Inside to Jackson. Jackson to Lyons. Lyons changing direction, ducking on the tackle. Gets it back. On to Stevenson. On to Jackson. Jackson's on, and it's Medley again. It's that man Medley. Goes over for his 3rd try. And that must be it. 22-14. And Medley has had a tremendous afternoon, both in attack and defence. His tackling has been fierce, his running has been powerful, his work rate has been unbelievable. And now he goes over for another try to make it now Leeds 22, Castleford 14. Tonks having a word with his team, doing his captain job, settling them down. Must be telling them how long there is to go. 5 minutes to end of normal time. Solid lead of 8 points. Well, after that great early resurgence in the second half, Castleford have wilted once again, and Leeds, very professional approach to this second half. Didn't lose the nerve, stuck at it. And the points have eventually come. Quite often the last quarter of an hour tells when skill wears the other team down, and once again David Stevenson has pulled it across the face of the post. Quite often it's in the last quarter that the skill and the tenacity and the strength of the better team begins to tell. A lot of credit due to Castleford, who put up a tremendous struggle. Ketteridge now belting it to Gurr. Gurr bringing Morris inside. Morris dancing away, but this time he can't get away from the tacklers as Hill goes in. Juliff gone into the forwards. A break by Maskell, a good break by Maskell. Caught Castleford napping from behind the play of the ball. Comes out to Tonks. Tonks holding it, one-handed, met by Ward. Maskell, short one, onto Furbank. Furbank's broke through. He has Schofield with him. And it's been knocked down. Lyons is there to get possession. Referee says back to 1. Schofield is up waiting for the play of the ball. Schofield to Maskell. Maskell holding it. onto Heron. Heron taken out of the game. Kick to the play the ball, the back to one as Tonks moves a wide pass out. Referee signaling we're back to one, and he's penalising Castleford for an offence in the tackle. Not getting off the tackle player. Not letting him get up to play it. And Jackson bangs it into touch. 20 yards out from the Castleford line. And it looks now as if Leeds are going to the draw tomorrow morning for the second round as it comes out to Lyon. Lyon moving it across, and Castleford still tackling. And there goes the hooter. The end of an extremely good cup tie. Leeds, class told in the end, having beaten Castleford by 22 points to 14, and a tremendous individual display from Medley in a great team display by the whole of Leeds. But Castleford could hold their heads up high. They provided them with a real game, a game which I'm sure you've enjoyed.
Honest, what more can one say, but a hell of a cracking cup tie.
It was, Peter. 80 minutes of top-class entertainment. It could have gone either way. Castleford were down by 16 points to whatever, 4, and came back in the second half to within 2 points of us. I'd have tried disallowed under the post. My word, that was a close run thing. Then we went to the bottom end, and Roy Powell, of all people, put the ball down with the line wide open. It was the safest hands in rugby league football, and he put it on the ground. And that's the sort of a match it was. There was a lot of inconsistencies by Mr. Spencer. I didn't like the way he's a referee, by the way. I didn't like the way that he stood over the play of the ball and allowed particularly Castleford to come up in an offside position behind his back, therefore nullifying the type of football we've been playing, which is driving it in 2 or 3 and then hitting it wide. We just couldn't do it, so we had to resort back to sort of plan B, which was to take Castleford on down the side of the ruck, which we did very well in the second half of the second half. Not particularly in the first 20 minutes of the second half, but certainly in the latter end.
Now, you went behind to a try very, very early on. Were you worried at that stage?
No, not so early. Not the way this team can play, Peter. It's nice if you don't have a try scored at all, if you don't give a penalty away. That means you're disciplined and everything's working well. But if teams are going to score against us, I would prefer them to score first early on and not sort of in a tight match scoring in the last few minutes. Then the muck is thrown at the fan. It's I'm going to say shit or bust, but I won't. But that's what it is. You're better off getting the thing against you early on if there's going to be one. Then you need the cushion of points to withstand a comeback as Castleford thrown to us in the second half. We had this cushion of 16 points. Castleford got to 14 points, 2 points adrift. We always had the cushion, and then of course when we scored again, it put it out of danger.
Now, after slipping behind 4-0, the try that brought you back all square was a peach of a try, wasn't it? There was a beautiful line kick from Creaser, then 2 drives, and then that beautiful work move that Medley finished off under the post.
Yes, it's one we've been using. Actually, we used it for Great Britain 2 years ago, and I brought it up to the club, and we've got the ideal finishing off power with Medley if the ball can be got to him at the right spot at the right time. There's very few tacklers will stop Paul Medley when he hits it on the burst. Ray Ashton played a big part in it, some superb handling, but the thing that put us into position for it was a super drive by young John Fairbanks playing at 10, and I thought he had a sound game. It just backed up the game he'd had at Hull Kingston Rovers last week in the league when I thought it was our best player. I thought he came very near to being our best player this time, but he just had that 10-minute sin bin for levelling Kevin Beardmore.
Yeah, he's a tremendous forager, isn't he?
Yes, he can make a break out of nothing. He's so strong, and there's a very low sort of centre of gravity. He can run as fast sort of crouched up as he can upright. Plus the fact he offloads the ball well. A little bit ambitious today in his first 2 or 3 breaks. He tried to get passes out that weren't on, but I'm certainly not going to stop that because we can still get him to offload the ball, but at the right time. So I'm not going to stop him passing it, otherwise it'll affect his play. But very, very good prospect at 21.
Kevin Ward, commiserations, but a tremendous cup tie.
Yeah, it takes 2 teams to make one, like, and Leeds played well. Cats especially the first 25 minutes, and we seemed to go off the boil for 10 minutes, and Leeds ran 2 ties in. But as far as Castleford's performance, I thought from the 44-0 drubbing early on, we came out, we were all fired up, and the things just went wrong at the back end. You know, we got back to 16-14. Thought we got pulled back for well, it's no good probably blaming the referee, like, but I rode a forward pass and there's no way it was, like, and went under the post, and that could have changed the game, but as it was, like, I got made.
Disappointing. You had an ideal start because you went in, didn't you? And you scored an early try. Was that the kind of platform you were looking for?
Well, it was really, but we didn't need much motivating today. Like, you know, with the 44-0 job in the Sabre was fired up, so we knew we had to prove something not only to ourselves but to the fans, directors, and chairman as well. Like, and you know, we went out with, you know, definitely to win, and as I say, like, we got to a good start 4-0. Leeds came back. We went into that lapsed 10 minutes, like, and just run 12-4 at half time or something, and but the spirit as we came back the second half, I just thought we're going to snatch it, and just went away from us.
Hey, what did your coach have to say at half time? Because you were 16-4 down at half time, and you obviously had to come out and put some points on the board early, didn't you, to have a chance to get back in the game?
Well, the score at half time didn't really affect the game in the first half, because I thought Castleford had 30 minutes to the 40 minutes. As I say, it was that silly 10 minutes with the 12 points, and we didn't need no pumping up at half time for the second half. We knew what to do. There were a lot of pride at stake, as I say, for the club and the players as well, and we rose to it, and it was just that incident where he'd hold a forward pass, which never was in all this world.
Yeah, sadly games sometimes take on things like that, aren't they? Decisions like that.
Yeah, as I say, I don't blame that, like, but I think it was good enough on the day to win, but I credit to Leeds, get battling away, and they're in the door to one away, aren't it? It's as simple as that.
Now, it was a great Castleford performance, but you must be pleased with your own performance today. I mean, this season, that's probably the most outstanding performance that you've put in, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm just getting a bit of form back now. Like, I think I've been suffering from a bit of jet lag over the last 4 months. I think, but I was quite pleased with. I think I'm a bit to improve on the attack. My defence is up to scratch, I think, but on attack I'd like to be a bit better. And I don't become a good player on my own. It's the players around me, that make me, like, slipping balls away and all that. So it's just a team performance that helps me with an individual game, like.
But your support was obviously there today, because on many occasions you were throwing the ball out in the tackle, weren't you? And you were running at your devastatingly best, which is close to the rucks. Yeah,
as I say, I'm probably lethal around that area, like, and if people just back me, which they did today, like, get the half break and all that, and we just didn't get the final touch to go over the line, like, so.
Well, Leeds on top by 22 points to 14. Well done to Maurice Bamford and the boys. Leeds on the march to Wembley, I wonder. And our after-match interviewer there, by the way, in the dressing room at Headingley was Peter Deakin, talking to Kevin Ward and the victorious Leeds coach, Maurice Bamford.